This is a video that I simultaneously am super excited and also do not want to make. And it all started the day before Monday qualifying for the Open in Austin. So I just finished editing my In the Bag, and I got an email about Monday qualifying at the Open in Austin, which is what this video is going to be about. Apparently Flight Factory is sponsoring the Open in Austin, so maybe I should say Flight Factory presents Open in Austin, Disc Golf Pro Tour event. You're supposed to say these things when you do this stuff, but tomorrow we get down to Austin. I'll probably have time to play a quick practice round because the course is open at 9 for practice. The qualifier players meeting's at 2:45. So hopefully I can get a little bit of a round in, feel things out. 3 spots are available, and right now 35 registrants for the Monday qualifier. Some decent names for sure. It's gonna be paper scoring, they just said, which is interesting, meaning that you're not gonna know how everyone else is doing. So play safe, but get your birdies. And I'm just hoping that I can score pretty good and get into the Open in Austin. But I'm right now about to be reviewing the caddy book, just kind of see how it is. I heard it's pretty new. Let's see how big it is overall. It says MPO total. It's only 9,075 feet for MPO, which is pretty short for a Pro Tour course. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. Oh, disc golf is so fun. Tour life is crazy. All right, time to learn this caddy book, and then I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Out here at the Monday qualifier. I'm excited. Game feels fine. I have a solid game plan. I played this course a few hours ago, checked into Airbnb, showered, freshened up, re-warmed up the body. I'm feeling pretty solid. I don't know what the score is going to be, and I'm trying not even to think about score, just play my best game and hope that it's good enough, because who knows what the competition can do. And I don't want to put a number in my head if it's too high or too low. And I know all these are gettable, but they all have their trouble, so Drew's gonna be here filming some stuff, and we'll talk through it probably at the end and overlay the footage. But forehand's feeling all right, backhand's feeling decent. Just got to keep it smooth. Remember, it's just any other round. So the way the qualifiers work, which I learned here, is that you do a shotgun start, everybody at the same time. It was 3:15 on Monday. I started on hole 18, which is one of the tougher holes on the course, so I wasn't mad about getting it out of the way, getting the nerves out of the way, playing some safe shots. Parred hole 18 after like the most upshot putt, and then a made putt. But we got these fools here. Look at these dudes. So Drew meets me on hole number 1 to play out the next few holes. And I start with a pretty solid drive. Hole 1's a 400-foot par 3. I'm throwing my Roman, just kind of keeping it flat to hyzer. Put it a little low. It gets skippy, but doesn't get quite left enough. But I have this basically drop in. And I step into this basket, which is now elevated, and when I'd practiced, it wasn't elevated. And honestly, I think I have some mental stuff going on with elevated baskets that I really need to practice on them, because it's just moving your aim point a little bit and moving your fall through. And after this putt, I did talk with Drew about, I need to develop a putting routine that's just the same every time, because you saw that, it coming out of my hands, it was just a little fast. So hole 2, 715-foot par 4. It's kind of pitch if you throw the forehand. And so I decided to throw that forehand, but there's a kind of a ripping headwind left to right. And so I throw it flat into that instead of keeping it on hyzer, which would still kind of keep it mostly flat because it's slightly headwind, and push it to the right. And it leaves me with a 430-foot upshot, which I try to just turn over my Emperor. It was pretty tight because I did have this tree to the left side that I didn't really want to hit, and so I end up releasing this Emperor on a slight hyzer because I'm a little more comfortable hitting a tight window on that, and so I probably should have disked down to something more understable if I wanted to do that, or what I actually should have done was play safe, because I needed to take into account that there were some holes that were not going to get birdies, especially during a qualifier where it's not the actual event and the top of the field is just not there. It's people trying to get into the tournament, and I really should have just pitched around with the forehand, pitched up, and taken a par. Pitching up, taking a 5, and so now I'm 1 over through 3 holes. I'm just trying to think about the next shot and getting the next birdie, which is hole number 3. I take that same Emperor. Now it's just a headwind, because instead of being a left to right wind, because that was also a factor, because I was like, if I turn this over, the wind's going to help hold it over before it fades out. I'm trying to kind of decipher the wind, and I just throw slightly too much inside. So a little bit lefter, and I'm parked, but I end up kind of hitting some trees, being able to pitch up for a 3, and get to hole 4, which I'm the most confident in of these first 4 holes. Well, maybe except for hole number 1, but I practiced a bunch of plays. The wind was a lot more right to left than what I'd practiced, and so I just took my Conqueror, very overstable 12 speed, the old PD2 mold from Innova, threw it way out wide on a little bit of hyzer above the trees and just let it crash right in, which it did, stepping up to about a 20-25-foot putt, which I'm nervous about because I missed that first putt, but I just try to remember to get my hands in the chains and follow through at the basket, and I'm able to make one even if it's a little bit ugly.
Hey.
Hole 5, I'm going for the birdie, not the eagle play, especially because we had a massive headwind, and so I just take an overstable Emperor, throw it on a forehand, do not care how far right I get, I just do not want to go OB. I know I can make that upshot happen up close to the basket. Luckily, it hits a tree and puts me in a pretty good spot. We don't record the upshot with my zone, but it puts me just to the edge of circle with a headwind putt looking at the basket, which I'm pretty nervous about, to be honest with you. But I know that if I just follow through well, I can make the putt.
Oh. Shoot, chill out.
And so all that ensues, moving us into the treacherous hole number 6. I throw a solid tee shot, but not great. I meant to turn this Roman a little bit more. This has been my miss, is just releasing on some hyzer, which is something I'm going to be figuring out before I go to the next events. Pitch up with the zone, and that's when Drew and Andrew decided to leave. I throw an upshot, which I thought was great, but just hit some weird patch of ground. Gets me to about 40 feet, and
Drew left because he hates me. And then I missed a 40-footer. Felt good, though, so positive momentum.
So after this, I have a couple pretty unconfident holes. Hole 7, I end up getting a par, but I had to make about a 25-footer to do so. Hole 8, I throw an okay tee shot and then a relatively bad upshot, and then I jump putt out a driver, which hits some trees, and I miss about a 35-foot straddle putt low and off the left side. Take a bogey. Hole 9 and take a 5, so I go bogey, bogey, parking hole 10 with a forehand zone, getting back one of those birdies, and hole 11, another bogey, moving into the double Mando hole. And one of the things about these qualifiers is that since FPO and MPO are trying to qualify, they have both of the sets of baskets in, and sometimes they're right in line with one another.
I just threw what I thought was like the perfect shot. I was going to skip up the hill. There's a big left to right. I threw interval, glow one on hyzer, stable, not overstable, but like on hyzer. It's going to move up there, and I hit the FBO basket right off of the basket on the right side. Luckily, I did kick forward a bit, but if I didn't, I mean, I'm hitting this hillside and sliding pretty close to up there. So now we got a bit of a putt, but we're going to make it.
I do end up missing that putt off the pro side. There was a little bit of a right to left wind, which pushed me out of it. I do get a little bit of a roll away, but I'm able to can that one from about 25 feet as well. And the putter is feeling pretty confident. But at this point, I'm through 13 holes and I am 2 over par. I'm trying to start to think about, like, what is the actual number? And maybe these thoughts shouldn't have gotten in my head, but it did get me a little bit motivated to be like, I have to birdie out to feel like I have a chance to get in that. And that would equate to being 3 under par. And to me, that wasn't a crazy score out there. And I knew that there were some people out there who could definitely shoot that. It was pretty windy, but I was like, that's kind of in the cards. And so 13, this is before they changed it to a par 3, is still 460-foot par 4. I end up actually throwing this exact basically run of Emperor. Also, these are available right now. First link down in the description. You can snag some of the Texas Swing stamps. They'll be available throughout the duration of this content and the Texas Swing, so probably for another 2 or 3 weeks. 4 awesome molds right over here. There'll be more info about those coming out soon. But I end up just throwing basically a pure hyzer because it's slight right to left. Thought I threw it perfect because I didn't really think I could throw it long, but this is where my adrenaline was getting up to me, and I was like having positive momentum in my opinion, where it's like, I know I can do this now, let me make it happen. And so I actually throw it 35 feet long of the basket, end up just airballing my putt right side. So I guess I'm pulling them the right way. If it's right side rather than left side, I'm not missing weak side. I'm having like a 20-foot comebacker, which I'm able to make, and so that gets me back to 1 over par. Hole 14, I end up just lacing my drive on a hyzer, gets me to the mouth of the gap, able to pitch up basically under the basket, but skips off the pin and kicks it to about 10 feet, make that putt. 15, throw a forehand with the overstable Emperor, which puts me to about 30 feet, worst shot of the group by far. I step up to that, straight headwind putt, but there's a little bit of a hill that's blocking a lot of it, and I just say, don't think about the headwind, just aim for the middle chain and just spin it right at it, and I dead center heart that putt. So that gets me to 1 under par, and now I'm like, I had the good momentum. Let's get there. Hole 16, 368 feet. We had to wait a little bit for the cart in front of us. It's basically a pure forehand, and so I take my flatter S-Blend Emperor that Gannon Bird actually signed and drew me on, pump it on some hyzer pretty hard, knowing that I'm not going to flip it. Flips like up a touch, still on hyzer, ends up basically parking the basket and then rolling to about 25, 30 feet. Step up to that putt, and I'm like, let's just make this. Don't think. Aim at the chain, spin it at it, bang, dead setter. So now I'm 2 under par, and I'm like, let me get this last birdie, get out of here, and I'm pretty confident that I'll get in. I wasn't really thinking about par, I wasn't thinking about boat, I wasn't thinking about any of that. Step up to this drive, we have a pretty big wait, about 10 minutes. Hole 17, which is 410 feet. You have to throw kind of a left-right moving shot, which in practice I had practiced kind of the flex over, the force over, but I had been throwing that shot so poorly already today that I had also practiced a hyzer flip with my interval, which was pretty flippy, the purple one, and I was just kind of flipping it up, and it was drifting over, and it was perfect. And so I take that shot out. My front up and my stance don't feel phenomenal as I end up releasing it, and it does flip up, but there's a little bit more tailwind than there was in the practice round that I had, and so it doesn't flip all the way over, and I probably left it a little bit too inside. I could have thrown it a little bit more right, but I wanted to really open up that gap for myself. End up kicking a tree, hitting left, And so now I have to get up and down for bogey. And in my head, I'm like, well, that's it. I was like, 200 par has to be the line. And this is where live scoring would have been super helpful because I don't know what the line actually is. In front of me, there's this massive pole, 50 feet in front of me. It's basically in the perfect line for me to just chip a forehand. I probably could have looked at the backhand and seen, you can get around with the backhand and just try to get up there, taking a bogey. But I just end up throwing my zone over that. And instead of compensating for the nose up that I have with some Anheuser and putting it on some more Anheuser, this wasn't the zone. I didn't have these yet, but here's a glow zone. What I could have done was I had to throw nose up to get over this thing. And so I could throw more Anheuser nose up so it'll pan and pan back to the right. Nose up's gonna help it to move a little bit. What I end up doing is just putting the nose up and then just throwing it basically flat to hyzer, the same shot that I would have thrown. And that puts me inside of kind of some brambles that are just like basically on the ground, but they affect how much I can step through in a 40-foot putt. Stepping out of this putt, my heart is just racing, and this is something that I'm definitely gonna have to work through and figure out how to calm it down, because to me, I just lost it. Like, I have this long putt, and maybe I had missed it in my head before I actually stepped up, but I stepped up and I was able to regather and be like, no, I'm making this putt. I'm feeling good about this putt. I had to reposition my feet a couple times to see like how I could step through putt the best. Put it on a little bit of hyzer, and I put it up there, and it feels like it definitely got a chance to make it. It kisses the right side, chains, hits off the cage and bounces to 30 feet. At this point, I'm like, well, I got to make this for double. And so I step up to my 30-footer now and miss that one off the right side chains. And that one goes to 15 feet. And so I tap in for my triple bogey. And yeah, this is the rest of the video.
I tripled it, dude. I got out there, hit off the cage, was trying to make it for the 5, and wow, that was so sad. So sad. I just took a 6 and I'm 1 over. So that really sucks. I really hope that 2 down doesn't get in, because I could have probably just tried to play par, and that's really sad. Well, I definitely don't think that I got in. Not really. Oh, missed my card. Dang. So, looks like I'm not playing Austin, probably. We'll see. What's the number?
64. 64 is a playoff. Huh? What'd you shoot? 64?
I tripled the last hole to shoot 65.
You missed a bunch of putts, too?
I'd be a straight up in it if I just parred it.
That's tragic, dude.
Yeah.
Which hole?
17. I kicked OB left, and then I fluffed an upshot because of the first thing, and then just hard because you don't know what it is. I could have just pitched the forehand. I thought if I birdied all 3 of the rest, I think I birdied like 4 or 5, and then that last one I tripled. Wow, dude. I just want that tee shot back so bad. I want all those shots back, the upshot, everything. Because I'm in if I make my first putt, which I missed 2 putts in a row pro side. Just like right off the chains in the cage and out. Wow, I can't believe I just did that. I was really hoping that 3 under was like the line, because I was at 2. But it is what it is.
That would be the advantage.
I would call it over.
You just clean.
Right? That would have been so easy. I just pitch a forehand and I'm done.
Pitch a forehand up.
So that's a testament to get up and down. I can't believe I shorted that upshot as bad as I did. I'm so disappointed in myself for that. I feel like I gave up after I didn't get up and down. I probably didn't analyze what I needed to do. I probably thought I was out of it. I thought 2 or 3 was the number, and the number was freaking even. I could have double bogeyed that hole. I make the second one, I'm in this playoff. I make the first one, I'm here. If I chip aside over and get a par, I'm in the tournament by 2 strokes. So very, very disappointed in that. I'm out. So I drove home. I've been able to have some time to reflect. Threw a bunch of shots with my buddies. I threw with Joe and my buddy Cal Longquist just on hole 1, just ripping some shots. They throw so far. Cal threw one of my discs 605 feet. Hopefully my disc will fly farther now because they know what it means to fly farther. But as I was driving and just like talking with Drew and my buddy Andrew Miranda as well, I was just kind of reflecting, and I'm really proud of kind of what I did for most of that, because it would have been so easy to be like 2 over with 6 or 7 to play and just be like, I'm out of it. And then to just go birdie, 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 and like making some really clutch putts, like dead center, hearted, like doing what I needed. Obviously it didn't happen on the last hole, but leading up to it, I really did. And a lot of what this trip has taught me through Waco and through now, and I'm going to continue to get to play with some awesome people. And this week is not going to be a bust at all. It's going to be awesome. I'll enjoy the event. I'll enjoy playing with my Pro Tour friends and hopefully some new friends that I make along the way. But I think what this week has really shown me is when I feel like I'm playing bad, I am playing bad for myself, but that's also still good disc golf. Like, I didn't feel like I felt like I honestly played pretty bad during this round. And if I didn't have this massive blow up on hole 17, the last hole, I would have gotten into the qualifier, which is against a bunch of good 1,000-rated people, or at least a good amount of them. If anything, this has made me significantly more confident about my game and the skills that I have. And now it's a lot about dialing in the putts, because I think I still missed 3 or 4 circle 1 putts. I haven't done the stats. I'll put them up on the screen here. I'm going to do them. And it's just wasn't fully my round. And it's interesting too, because at the end, I don't feel super bad about the 6. Like, it's a terrible score, but I don't feel super bad about any of the putts. Like, I gave them all chances. They didn't hyzer, they didn't finish. They were bad putts. My adrenaline was pumping. I was like, oh, I lost it. And I thought I needed to get to 3, honestly, and I only needed to be at 1. So qualifiers are interesting. I've learned a lot, and it gives me a lot of good training to go back to. Because I was also throwing good forehands today. Like, I threw a couple, like, solid 370-foot forehands on a specific line to get some birdies, and that's a shot that I didn't think I had coming into the weekend, but when I needed it, I was able to pull it out and make it happen, and so I feel confident in my ability to adapt as well. And so this has been a long-winded way to say I'm really proud of kind of where I've been this week, these last 2 weeks, and what it's proven to me. And a lot of me playing poorly, I think, comes to me not trusting how good I have gotten already. And I'm not where I need to be fully, but it's so much closer that it feels like I've been doing things in the right direction. And that was a question going into Waco and then going into here and then playing poorly at Waco. The question was just like, oh, am I just like, is this just outside of the cards? And it's not, which is good. Also, we're going to end this with an unboxing because I just got some goodies in from Infinite. They'll be up on the site now. More to come about it later, but we'll unbox it after we go get some pizza. This video's turned out long, but you get what you get when I missed the cut by tripling the last hole. Not the cut, missed the tournament. This is the box that we have. I'm gonna just go ahead and go through it really fast. I got like 2 minutes left on this camera. We got these iBlend Emperors. We actually have 3 of these. The pink ones are the most overstable that I found, and these ones are the most understable, and then the oranges are kind of right in the middle from what I found. These are bombers. If you're looking for farthest flying Emperors that you'll ever have, if you don't throw over 450 feet, these are gonna be them. If you do throw over 450 feet, these are gonna be flippy for you, maybe slightly rollers. Zones right here as well. We have S-Blend Chariots, which are my favorite. There was another one, but I actually gave it to my buddy Cal because he really, really liked it as well. And he throws super far, so if you're looking for a really good torque resistant mid, it's that. If you're looking for a really solid Roman, these Metal Flake Color Glow ones are sick. Big shout out to the artist Keith for doing this. It's part of a 3-part series, so if you want to snag all that, you can. A couple more things coming. I also just wanted more S-Blend Chariots because this is one of my favorite mid-ranges in the world right now. I have this disc right here. Check it out. That is going to be my tour series. That's ready. Super pumped. They're getting stamped right now. And then they also stamped some of them with my Texas Swing stamp. These are just for me. There's 4 of these in the world, and they're all mine right now. Maybe something will happen with them later. This, I've been throwing this. It's in the bag. You'll see it in some videos. It's the best run of this disc, this mold that I have ever thrown for me personally. So we also have some fun stuff, which I think Infinite has coming out new. We have some Halo Incas. I also have some of these on my site with my original launch stamp. These are pretty fun, really solid molds. Basically a Big B Rock 3. I'm not the biggest rock throw in the world. It's a little bit big for my hands, but it has, a lot of people like these, like they like the Chariots. I just prefer the Chariots a little bit. It's a little less overstable than the Raw. And then some interesting stuff. We got some Yikun discs. We have the Z here, the Glaze X. I don't really know. I am not good at Mandarin tones, but understable 9-speed. Some of these feel like wider. I'm really excited to give these a rip. We have 8.6 negative 1.5, 0 the Nuwa, and feels interesting. This one, whoa. Big old distance driver boy right here. Look at that thing. And then a couple of their base plastic ones. Similar, same molds, but this plastic actually feels like basically Discraft's rubber blend mixed with some like Prodigy DNA. I don't really know how to describe it, but it actually feels pretty good. Intercolor plastic, flippy guy. These are so interesting. And then this big driver. Both of the drivers have a little bit of like puddle top on them. It's weird. And then this actually feels good. It feels like kind of like a Zone A5-ish disc, 4303. The Tianxu, I think. I don't know if that's how I pronounce it. And then this is the Psychic from Elevation. I can't wait to give this thing a rip. So they sent me these out. We'll have some reviews coming, mostly for Banana Froth. Banana Froth will get back up and running. This trip's been crazy, and I'm trying to learn how to balance all of it. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you soon. Bye.